You saw it. You felt it in your spirit, that small hesitation, that quiet unease, that moment when something didn't sit right, but you talked yourself out of it. You ignored the red flag God showed you because you wanted it to work. You wanted them to be who you hoped they were. You wanted the opportunity to be what it appeared to be. But God doesn't show you red flags to confuse you. He shows them to protect you. And when you ignore what He's revealing, you don't just delay the lesson, you deepen the pain. What you're experiencing right now isn't punishment for missing the warning. It's confirmation that God was speaking all along. Stay with me, because this message isn't just about what you missed. It's about what God is teaching you to see. If this is already hitting home, go ahead and subscribe right now. This channel exists to help you understand what God is doing in the seasons that don't make sense. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next, because the clarity you need is on the way. When God reveals a red flag, it's not a test to see if you'll obey, it's an act of love. He sees the end from the beginning. He knows what's hidden beneath the surface. He understands the cost of what you're about to walk into, and He's giving you a way out before the door closes behind you. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." The red flag is God making your path straight. He's not being vague. He's not being mysterious. He's showing you exactly what you need to see, but your desire is louder than His whisper. You saw how they treated the person before you. You felt the inconsistency in their words. You noticed the lack of peace when you prayed about it. You sensed the spiritual resistance, but you convinced yourself it was fear, insecurity, or overthinking. You told yourself you were being too cautious, too judgmental, too guarded. But discernment isn't doubt. Discernment is God protecting you from what would have destroyed you. God doesn't show you red flags to make you paranoid. He shows them to you because He loves you too much to let you walk blindly into harm. The red flag isn't the problem. Ignoring it is. Let's be honest, you didn't miss the red flag. You saw it clearly. You just didn't want it to mean what it meant. You wanted the relationship to work. You wanted the job to be the breakthrough. You wanted that person to change. You wanted the opportunity to be from God, even though your spirit was saying no. So you rationalized. You made excuses. You gave them the benefit of the doubt again and again. You spiritualized your denial by calling it grace, patience, or faith. But grace doesn't mean ignoring truth. Patience doesn't mean tolerating disrespect. And faith doesn't mean pretending God didn't warn you. Look at Eve in Genesis 3. The serpent's very first question was a red flag. Did God really say? That was the warning. God had already spoken clearly, but the serpent made her doubt what she knew. He made the forbidden fruit look appealing. He twisted God's word just enough to make disobedience seem reasonable. And Eve didn't miss the warning. She ignored it because she wanted what was in front of her more than she trusted what God had already said. That's what happens when you ignore red flags. You don't do it because you're blind. You do it because you're hoping. You're hoping they'll change. You're hoping the situation will improve. You're hoping God will override the warning and make it work anyway. But God doesn't cancel His warnings just because you're invested. He doubles down on them. And when you keep ignoring what He's showing you, He'll eventually let you experience the consequence. Not to punish you, but to teach you to listen next time. If you're recognizing this pattern right now, if you're seeing how you ignored what God showed you, go ahead and drop a comment below. Just say, "I see it," or "This is me." Your honesty might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. You're not alone in this. Here's the painful truth. Every red flag you ignore becomes a lesson you learn the hard way. The person who showed you inconsistency at the beginning, they'll show you betrayal at the end, the opportunity that didn't have peace attached to it. It'll cost you more than it ever gives you. The relationship that required you to compromise your boundaries early. It'll require you to lose yourself completely later. God doesn't show you red flags as suggestions, He shows them as warnings. And when you ignore them, you're not just delaying heartbreak, you're intensifying it. David ignored red flags with Bathsheba in 2 Samuel 11. He saw her bathing. That was the first warning. Look away. But he didn't. He inquired about her. Second warning, stop here. But he didn't. He sent for her. Third warning, don't cross this line. But he did. And one ignored red flag led to adultery, deception, murder, and the death of his child. The red flag at the beginning would have cost him a moment of discipline. Ignoring it cost him a lifetime of consequence. And that's what happens when you override God's warnings. You don't avoid the pain, you multiply it. You don't escape the lesson, you just make it harder. The red flag you saw 3 months ago, you're living in the consequence of it now. The unease you felt at the start, it's now the chaos you're trying to escape. The warning you dismissed, it's now the regret you carry. God didn't withhold clarity from you. You withheld obedience from Him. Here's what most people miss. God doesn't just show you red flags once, He shows them repeatedly in different relationships, in different opportunities, in different seasons. Not because He's testing you, but because He's training you. If you keep ending up in the same type of toxic relationship, it's because you haven't learned to honor the red flag. If you keep walking into situations that drain you, it's because you're still choosing desire over discernment. If you keep ignoring what your spirit is telling you, God will keep putting you in positions where you have to choose. Will you trust me, or will you trust your feelings? Hebrews 5:14 says, "But solid food is for the mature, who by constant use have trained themselves to distinguish good from evil." Discernment isn't a one-time gift. It's a discipline. It's something you develop by honoring what God shows you even when it's inconvenient, even when it hurts, even when you don't want it to be true. God is teaching you to see what He sees. He's training your spirit to recognize danger before it's obvious. He's showing you patterns so you don't keep repeating cycles. But if you keep ignoring the red flags, you'll keep experiencing the same consequences. Different people, same pain, different opportunities, same disappointment, different situations, same regret. God will let you repeat the lesson until you pass it. And passing it doesn't mean getting what you want. It means trusting God enough to walk away from what He's warned you about. If this message is helping you see your situation more clearly, do me a favor. Hit that like button right now. It helps this message reach someone else who's ignoring the same red flag you just recognized. Someone out there needs to hear this today. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. The red flag you honor today is the heartbreak you avoid tomorrow. The warning you obey now is the testimony you'll carry later. The door you close in obedience is the door God opens in His timing. God doesn't show you red flags to limit you. He shows them to position you. He's not taking something from you. He's protecting something in you. Your peace, your purpose, your proximity to His will. When you honor what God shows you, even when it costs you what you want, you're saying, I trust you more than I trust my feelings. I trust your vision more than my desire. I trust your protection more than my plan. And that kind of obedience doesn't go unrewarded. Joseph honored the red flag when Potiphar's wife tried to seduce him in Genesis 39. He ran. He didn't negotiate. He didn't rationalize. He didn't ignore the warning. And yes, honoring that red flag cost him immediately. He was falsely accused and thrown in prison. But that same obedience positioned him for the palace. The red flag you honor today might cost you temporarily, but ignoring it will cost you permanently. When you start honoring what God shows you, you'll stop ending up in situations you have to pray your way out of. You'll stop attracting people you have to heal from. You'll stop entering doors you have to escape from. You'll start living in the peace that comes from trusting God's warnings more than your wishes. You saw it. God showed you, and now you know the red flag wasn't the problem. Ignoring it was. But here's the grace in this moment. You don't have to keep repeating the cycle. You don't have to keep ignoring what God is revealing. You don't have to keep choosing hope over discernment. The next time God shows you a red flag, honor it. Walk away, trust Him, because the pain of obedience is always lighter than the weight of regret. God isn't punishing you for what you missed. He's preparing you to see more clearly. And the red flags He's showing you now, they're not obstacles, they're invitations to trust Him at a deeper level. If this message spoke to your heart, type "I see it now" in the comments. And if you haven't already, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who needs to stop ignoring what God is showing them. Your obedience might be exactly what sets someone else free. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next one.